listening?
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is a good vibe song.
Oh, yeah. It's the most 80s song of all 80s songs, right? Like, as soon as you hear that, oh, that's the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's the 80s.
I saw Tears for Fears when I was like 14 in Dallas, and I remember being like, oh, these guys are already past their prime. It's like, this is like 1994 or something like that.
Well, imagine what they look like in 2025.
Oh, they're probably all 70. I mean, that's just the way things are now. It's fine. Tears for Fears, everybody. Joining us on the program, he is Mike Folta. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Let's kick things off with Mike as we always do. Top of the hour, it's The Cut. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, this portion of the program, The Cut, this hour, brought to you by the Doug Smith family of dealerships, American Fork, Spanish Fork, and now in Linden, you can find the family of Doug Smith dealers. They do a phenomenal job taking care of you. We love those guys, and nobody knows cars like Doug. And nobody knows the feeling that that the hockey club had last night any better than a guy like Mike Folta, who's the radio play-by-play voice, of course, of the Utah Hockey Club here on your radio home of the hockey club. Mike, your reaction last night, did you do like we did? I just kind of said, you know what? It's been an awesome year. They're going to pick 14th because that's just kind of how it shakes out, 1.5%. I'm not thinking much of it. But my heavens, what a result last night. We didn't even know how the draft lottery worked. We went, oh, yeah, they're not going to get it. And we saw the first round of draws, and we didn't see anything happen. And we went, okay, they're probably just going to pick 14th. Then we got the shock of the lifetime. Were you in the same boat we were?
Gentlemen, magic balls, magic lottery balls. It is Christmas in May, as our legendary TV producer Paul Hemming, a.k.a. Chopper, tweeted out earlier. Christmas in May for the Utah Hockey Club to move up 10 spots to win the draft lottery. They could not have moved up to get the number one spot, but they moved up as many spots as they could have from 14 all the way up to 4. And that is a huge jump in the NHL draft, and that means you can get you're more likely to get a top-tier player at number 4, obviously, but that draft pick also becomes a lot more valuable should the team opt to shop it around here in the offseason. But it's a huge day for the Utah Hockey Club to win the draft lottery and move up like they did, and to have the potential to bring in a piece that could really help bring a championship here to Utah.
Yeah, pretty awesome moment and an unexpected moment. And last night, Bill Armstrong, after the NHL lottery, called it a game changer. From your view, how is this a game changer for the Utah Hockey Club? You touched on it a little bit, but if you go more in depth on what this possibly could do to help this franchise take the next step.
Well, to understand, those comments and to kind of grasp the situation, I think you need to have a good grasp of the NHL draft. And it's a different curve than what, say, the NFL draft looks like. The NFL draft is much smoother. There's even a guy you draft at 30, 31, 32 in the NFL, you know that you're going to see that guy for at least a couple years in the National Football League. In the NHL, that's not the case. A guy you draft at the back or even the middle of the first round still likely get a chance in the NHL, but you got to keep in mind that after an NHL team drafts a player, there's typically 2 to 3 years before that player even reaches the NHL team, whether they're with their college team or their junior team. So there's 2 or 3 years of variability after you draft a guy before you really get him in your dressing room. And so there's a much steeper curve and a much steeper drop-off in the NHL draft from the top tier of prospects down through the middle of the first round to the back of the first round. If you can get a guy in that top grouping, those first handful of picks, there is a much higher percentage chance proportionately that you get an impact player versus 14, 15, all the way through the end of the first round when really you're throwing darts at a board. And there's good players to be had, but you have to think that with this fourth overall pick, that could be one of the pillars of this franchise for years to come down the road. Think of Logan Cooley, a guy we talk about all the time. He was taken third overall. So there are these impact players high up in the draft in Utah now. Because of the luck of the draft lottery, they now have a chance to grab one of these guys where they didn't a few days ago.
As you kind of see how this thing shakes out, I was watching a couple of the reactions from the national perspective, and a lot of guys going, wow, you saw the Islanders move up an insane amount also, and then you have Utah move up as many spots as they could move up, and so it's just kind of a fluky year for the lottery when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I think it only happened one time in the last 10 years that one team moved up that much, and we had two last night, and so it was crazy. But then I saw the naysayers go, wow, it's kind of a weak draft this year. Now, not that I would know the difference, right? Because it's hard for us to understand what these it's one thing for us to be able to break down, like you said, NFL guys, NBA guys, you go, okay, we're expecting those dudes to come in and make an impact right now. As a developmental, side of things, the NHL, I mean, Bill Armstrong said it very clearly last night. He goes, just want to remind people this is something where they get drafted and then they're expected to go develop at these other places. But when you see it's kind of a weak draft, what does that actually mean, especially when you're talking about guys who are going to be developing over the next few years anyway?
Well, let's just look at some of the guys who have been taken fourth overall over the last decade or so. So in there, you've got some really good drafts with high-end talent at the very top that people are excited and buzzing about. And you've also got some drafts in the last 10 years that have been kind of, okay, there's not as much excitement. But let me go through some of the fourth overall picks. 2 years ago, you got Will Smith, who's with the Sharks. He's going to be a really good player. He's under 20. He's phenomenal already. 3 years ago in 22, Shane Wright went fourth overall. He's an impact player with Seattle. Luke Hughes, 2021. He's the part of their young core on defense. 2020, Detroit takes Lucas Raymond. He's a stud. Bowen Byram in 2019. Brady Tkachuk, who is the captain of the Ottawa Senators right now, who were in the playoffs until a couple of days ago. He was 2018. Cale Makar in 2017. And then 2 years before that, Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you have all these top echelon players in that four spot that have gone over the last decade, and that's through drafts that are exciting. That's through drafts that maybe people aren't as buzzing around about. I would agree that in this upcoming draft, you do not have a Connor Bedard. You do not have a Macklin Celebrini, who's a surefire, bona fide number one over. There's no Cooper Flag in this NHL draft. Sure. But that doesn't mean that you can't go and get a guy who's going to be a part of your organization for the next 12, 15 years.
So maybe people kind of do the whole, well, it's not a strong draft because the last couple you've had massive generational names that, people are going, oh, that's, they go bonkers over. Clayton Keller was a seventh overall pick. Logan Cooley was the third overall pick. They could have easily been a fourth overall pick also. It just depends on what the team's needs are too. And they just go, or guys who are just the consensus hey, we want that guy. We have to have that dude. We like what we see with him. That's why you employ a scouting staff that goes, the difference between somebody who, again, mock drafts. We immediately went to the mock drafts last night. And we start looking, and there are a handful of names, 3 or 4 names across different mock drafts. And you go, okay, I've seen the same type of names over 3 or 4 different picks. And so you would think that Utah looks at those and goes, yeah, we have our own grades for those guys.
Yeah, and all you have to do is go back to look at the Logan Cooley draft. He was taken third overall by Arizona, and Bill Armstrong in his media availability has really harped on the fact that their scouting staff really tries to turn off all the noise. And in that 2022 draft, Shane Wright was the consensus number one overall pick. And although he didn't pull a Shedeur Sanders, he was falling, and he fell out of the 1, 2, and 3, the 1 and 2 spot. And everybody was just assuming that Arizona would take Shane Wright at 3. But Bill Armstrong and the Coyotes stuck to their guns, and they drafted Logan Cooley, who will be eligible for an extension coming up this summer, by the way. And they got the guy who they felt was the best player in the draft, and they've really been validated by that decision over the last couple of years of Logan Cooley. So I don't think you're looking as much at positional need when you're drafting that high, I think you're getting the best available.
Just whatever talent's
and that seems to be, and that seems to be the Armstrong's methodology.
Well, you look at this offseason now. We now know that Utah Hockey Club will have the 4th overall pick in the draft. They have a ton of cap space. They got a young roster. They got an ownership group that's ready to do whatever it takes to win. Can you give us a primer on what to expect from this team this offseason based on what you've heard and what you see? What are some of the options does this team have to get better next season?
Well, the general notion from a lot of the pundits out there is that this team is going to go big game hunting in free agency, which that would be a turn from Bill Armstrong's kind of mode of operating. Now, granted, in the past with the Coyotes, Armstrong has not really been in a position to take big swings at free agency, so you have to keep that in mind with this team coming out of the rebuild. But, boy, all you have to do is talk to the players at the end of this past season for Utah, and they were dead set on making the playoffs, and it bothered them to miss the postseason. And so that's the goal and the expectation. I would say it's less the goal and more so the expectation and the standard for this upcoming season that come late April, come May, this time of year that we're in right now, we're going to be watching the Mountain Blue in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And there's a bunch of free agent names that are going to be swirling around come July 1st, and I think it's a lot of Utah fans are waiting with bated breath to see what Bill Armstrong does. But remember, last year he really built through trades. He brought in Mikhail Sergachev and John Marino and totally remodeled the back end through trades. And he has shown that he is not afraid to spend this draft equity that this organization has accrued over the last couple of years to go out and get impact players like they did last year with their number one defenseman. You also have to consider a couple of high-end first-round draft picks from the Arizona Coyotes that are currently playing over in Russia right now. They're playing in the KHL. Dmitry Simashev and Daniil Boot. You never know when or how or if those guys will be able to come over, but those were really early first-round picks by Armstrong and this staff. And so you have to imagine that with those guys playing against men in the KHL and getting really good experience over in the Eastern Hemisphere, that if they are able to come over for training camp, that they could potentially have a chance to impact the big club this next season.
Well, let's ask you a little bit about what these playoffs have brought. Look, the NBA has given us 3 road upsets already in the first 3 games of the second round. I think just as a point of looking at it, not a lot of folks give Toronto the thought that they're going to move past a team like Florida that has such it seems like they have so much momentum. And Toronto somehow finds a way to screw it up every year, it seems like anyway. But they get the first win of the series, then go up 1-0 over the Florida Panthers. What's the East look like? Who's going to be the team coming out of the East for you? And what do these Western Conference playoffs look like the rest of the way here for you?
I still think that Florida is the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. The addition of Brad Marchand, who is the perfect rat to add to that greasy, bully-like squad down in Miami, like that's a match made in heaven. They added Seth Jones on the back end as well to give them another difference maker on the blue line. They're down 1-0 to Toronto right now, but I expect them to be a lot better in Game 2. And then the other series in the East, Washington and Carolina, I think that's probably one of the series that people aren't talking about as much. People have slept on the Carolina Hurricanes for this whole season, really. And they had Mikko Rantanen for 17 games. They traded him over to Dallas, who then just used him to win their first-round series. So the Canes have kind of been taking some criticism for the moves they've made this season, but I tell you what, that's not a team that anybody wants to see. They've won at least one playoff round in I think the last 7 years. I mean, that's really hard to do. And with the speed and the way they play, they'll have a chance in every series. And I like them against the Washington Capitals. I think the historic season for Ovechkin and the Caps comes to an end at the hands Rob Brindamore's Hurricanes. The West is going to be electric, guys. The West is fantastic. We've seen the importance of home ice advantage in Game 7 for both Winnipeg and Dallas. They both won dramatically in Game 7 with some late-game heroics there, and now those two teams play each other. I like Dallas coming out of the West, but I think Vegas is also a team that kind of limped through their first-round matchup against Minnesota. I think that first-round win for Vegas is going to kind of wake them up a little bit. And I think they're just a better team than Edmonton, their second-round opponent. I think it's going to be Vegas-Dallas in the Western Conference Finals, and I think it's Dallas's turn. They've waited long enough. I would be surprised if the Stars are not in the Stanley Cup Finals.
How much fun were both of those Game 7s, and what impact and what can that do to help grow the game of hockey when you have electric moments like that and great finishes?
Well, I mean, we didn't have two multi-goal comebacks in the third period of a Game 7 for like 100 years, or there were only like 3 in the last 100 years. Then we had 2 in the same weekend. So it was truly a historic first round. I mean, one of the craziest first rounds that I've ever seen. Winnipeg obviously tying the game with 1.6 seconds left. And, like, guys, I've been to Winnipeg the last couple of years. Like, it's not a big town. That's a small market team, but the Jets, that's what they got there, and they go absolutely nuts in that building for their Jets. And so winning in Canada Life Center is always going to be tough. Dallas has a great home crowd as well. And I was talking about Mikko Rantanen earlier. I mean, he gets traded from his beloved Colorado Avalanche, the team that he won the Cup with back in 2022. He was traded unbeknownst to him. He didn't see it coming. He was blindsided. Well, what do you know? He comes back to end Colorado's season with a hat trick in the third period, and he becomes the first player, in however long, to score 4 points in one period in back-to-back games in the playoffs. Like, just an unbelievable story for Mikko Rantanen to beat his old team. And Colorado was a good team, too. I mean, they got Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar, two of the best players in the world, and it was the Mikko Rantanen revenge tour that ended their campaign. The first round is always electric. We say this every year, and it should give Utah fans – it should get Utah fans salivating for what is to come for this organization here in Salt Lake City. I mean, we had a ton of great atmospheres at Delta Center this year. I know you guys know that. I know all of our fans know that who have been at games. But imagine that atmosphere and then put a multiplier on it for the postseason, because you can't explain that until you feel it.
Mike Folta, you can, of course, hear his voice calling these hockey club games across the radio waves. And we love having Mike on. From a personal perspective, are you getting much of an off season? Are you getting a break here? Do you feel like the voice is recovering?
I'm getting a little too much of an off season here. I'm going a little crazy, but it's great to get a rest and honestly, guys, like it's great to get to know the community a little bit more and have some time to invest in Salt Lake and invest in Utah a little bit more this summer, and really making it a point to be around. And I'm a free agent on the beer league hockey circuit. So if any listener needs a net front presence in their beer league hockey this summer.
You're a forward. You're just putting yourself out there as a scorer.
No, not even a scorer. I've got a muffin of a shot. I mean, someone to stand in front of the net.
Okay.
And just like have one going
Cherry
right
pick.
off my rump.
Yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll go to the hard areas. I can skate. I just can't stop. That's kind of my thing. So
well, now that you made the pitch, someone out there is going to pick you up. There's no doubt about that.
That's the biggest free agency signing that we're looking forward to finding out about.
Jay Stevens will hook you up. He knows all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be making league minimum at the Salt Lake County Adult League in Division 4. So, yeah, I can't wait for it.
There's a lot of adults that are trying to figure it out now. They want to be part of a league too. So you're going to be part of. Look, that's the unintended consequence of Ryan Smith trying to build this thing out and getting a lot more rinks and everything going. you're not just going to get the junior leagues. You're going to get the Mike Folta leagues also developing. There are going to be some. There are going to be some guys out there who are like, I'm only here for the post game. All right, so hook me up here. So let's get this thing going.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Get a couple brews going in the locker room after the game. You're just sitting in your wet gear, kind of reliving the game you just played, and bunch of guys you don't really know, guys and gals. It's fantastic.
All right.
No, seriously, adult league hockey's the best. We should get you guys out there. I could use some goon.
Goon is for sure.
Yeah, that's all I could do.
For sure,
I'm not even sure I could do that.
I might be. What I'll do is I'll just put on a 3-piece suit and I'll shave my head and I'll go full bear. I'll just stare. I'll just stare at some people mean. I'll say a couple of things. I'll point, and then and that'll be it. That'll be my contribution to the league.
You have to. How's your Quebec accent?
Oh, I can't listen. At this point, we've interviewed Bear every week for the past for all season long. I've all the plurals. You just drop all the plurals.
Yeah,
all right,
no S's.
These player play. They do a good job. These player go out. They play hard. So I'm gonna go full on. I'll go full bear if you need me to in your league. If you guys need a coach, I don't even know if they do coaches in the beer leagues. Well, I'll be there though.
We would love to have you guys behind the bench. That'd be an honor.
I would absolutely put a suit on for that. Just the weirdest thing ever. Just the weirdest thing ever. They're all, why is this guy in a suit? They're like, that's the role he plays. It's just a little. It's a dress up situation. It's good. All right, Mike, we appreciate it, man. We'll chat with you again. Looking forward to the rest of these playoffs, and then we'll dip in again when we get closer to these to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Big summer for the Utah Hockey Club. Can't wait. Talk to you later, guys.
Gonna be awesome.
Thanks, Mike. You're the best.
We got more going on here. We got to take a break. We got tons going on. Hey, do you believe in karma? Last night we saw it play out. I think that the karma is overflowing, and it's all because we have people donating to Primary Children's Hospital, all in the name of getting the number 1 overall pick. It just so happened to overflow into the hockey club yesterday. So let's keep this thing going. You can go to KSLSports.com, participate in the KSL Sports 2-for-1. You donate, you make that donation. All the proceeds go to Primary Children's Hospital. Every dollar goes to Primary Children's Hospital. You can, of course, dip in there, and it's all for the sake of now the hockey club leading the way. We're just a few days away now from that lottery on Monday, where we're going to be partying at JCW's there in Harriman. So crossing our fingers. We don't need to cross fingers, though, because we made so many awesome donations to Primary Children's already. We appreciate those. Keep them coming. Let's get this thing going. KSLSports.com for our 2-for-1. We'll take the break. We'll come back. Got NBA playoffs to chat about next, right here at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
White has the ball, holds it high, throws it to Brown, left wing, stripped by Bridges, hangs onto it, took it away, throws it down court, and the New York Knicks stun the Celtics. 108-105 the final. The Knicks save their biggest comeback of the season for the biggest win of the year.
Second free throw, Holmgren. Missed it again. Rebound down to Christian Brown. You got to hurry. 7 seconds. Front court over to Westbrook. Left side Gordon for the win. Yeah! 2.8 seconds left coming back the other way. Williams from half court. Baked it no good at the horn. And the Denver Nuggets shock the Oklahoma City Thunder in game number 1. Final tonight, 121-119.
Oh, man. All that sound got us to the very end of the brand new John Tesh, the Tesh brothers. And they're very, very iconic. They're going to use that, right? Oh, yeah, that's what they said. They're going to use it. Not that one with the No, that is the new one with the electric guitar.
One, yeah. It's the new hip 2025 version.
That's fine. They can I'm all about it. It's really fun. It's cool.
Is it?
It's what John Tesh ordered, man, and that's what he got.
The original.
Look, John, I'm not going to argue with John Tesh. He's not dead, and he's the one who chose that version. He goes, "This is what we're going to do for the new updated 2025 version." John Tesh is less than 80 years old. True or false?
True.
Has to be. Less than 70 years old. True or false? Okay. I'm going to say Tesh is 7. I'm going to say he's Bill Belichick's peer, 73 years old.
Close, 72. He'll be 73 in July.
Right. So he's look, he's the Pete Carroll of jingles. You know what I mean? He might be older, but he doesn't seem that old. You know what I mean? Just still has that look to him.
Maybe that guitar attempt is something to make him feel a little bit young.
How old is Michael Bolton?
Edgy.
How old's Michael Bolton? I'm going to say 66.
Michael Bolton.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to go kind of in that era.
Okay.
66.
No.
71?
Same age as John.
No, they're both 72?
Correct.
Wow.
And look, he really misses his hair.
Oh.
Doesn't
Michael
look
Bolton.
the same.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to the program.
How do you cut those locks,
Glad
man?
we had this discussion. I bet he just doesn't grow them like he used to. You know what I mean?
You may be right.
It's like, it's like me. As soon as I hit my 40s, gonzo, man. Hey, coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to have Mitch Harper, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com. I think he's going to be able to write off that entire Disney trip that he took.
I think so too. I'll ask him, but I think he just went down there to get some exclusives.
Turned into
with
a
some
work
BYU
trip.
Football players.
Turned into a work trip.
Fooled his family once again.
Wow. Oh, whoops, kids. Aren't you excited? Let's take some pictures with some BYU football players. Come on. You guys are here? That's a shock.
Oh, I had no idea.
All right. Hey, you can nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. What do? We take those nominations that you give us at KSLSports.com/contest. And every Thursday, we read off a winner on this very program, and we celebrate the efforts of those volunteers who make an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week award. Sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. They get a gift from them. And from Beehive Meals, they get a gift from them as well. All right, just like we predicted, the Nuggets upsetting the Thunder in Game 1. The Knicks rallying from 20 points down in the second half. They get a win on the road in Boston, just like you had predicted. And so that is now, we are 3 for 3 of home teams losing in Game 1. Now, not that this is the indicator, right? Because you got the tonight you've got Timberwolves and the Warriors. And I'll say with that one actually is the most intriguing of all these games because they're the ones that of all the other ones that we just assumed that the higher seed were going to get the win. The home teams were going to get the win. In my mind, that's what was going to happen. The Knicks,
in the
they're
first
not
round?
No, I'm saying right now.
Oh, yeah.
These
of
teams,
course.
the Knicks, they're not built to beat the Celtics, right? I mean, come on. The Thunder, this is their year. I don't know why it would be, but this is their year. The Nuggets don't even have a freaking head coach. That's the craziest part to me. The Nuggets let their coach go with how many games left in the regular season? 4 games left in the regular season?
Something like that, yeah.
Something stupid like that, and we just assumed, you know what? There's no freaking way these guys are going to go anywhere in the playoffs. Need we remind you that Nikola Jokic went 42-22, not bad. Aaron Gordon with another game winner, as you just heard. And I'm telling you, the Knicks beating the Celtics is just as big of a shock to me because the Celtics are the reigning champs. They have everybody and all that experience and all the same. And by the way, they have guys who've gotten better. Peyton Pritchard got better this year. Like, is he the sixth man of the year?
Yes.
Who was he was sixth man of the year. He got better this year. Derek White is phenomenal. Al Horford is 100 years old, and he still makes an impact on the floor. Kristaps Porzingis got a big old knot in the head, but you know what he is? That wasn't like a diss on his intelligence. He literally has a big old. He got clubbed in that first round, and got those stitches. What I'm saying is that team is built to win again. The Knicks, to me, don't have a roster top to bottom that is comparable to Boston winning. Are we dumb enough to have gone through this entire year and said the East is as easy to predict? Even the Cavaliers don't have it, and the Cavs lose to the Pacers in Game 1. I'm shocked by this whole thing, and yet we're watching footage right before we came on of Rudy getting choked out by Draymond Green. I can't wait for that freaking game tonight, man.
That's gonna be fun.
Second round. If you think there aren't going to be antics tonight, Draymond Green has to set an example tonight on Rudy Gobert. Am I wrong?
No, he'll definitely send a message.
He's got to do some weird thing.
There's going to be stuff going on between those two the entire series. It's going to become a story. It's going to become a story.
They're all, Draymond, we need you in this game. What's going on? We need you to kick somebody in the crotch. Preferably, make it Rudy Gobert. Like, why not?
Because that will be fun.
Poor Rudy. He just is. I mean, he is just the bad. He just doesn't. He gets the vibe of not being tough enough, right? Like not being.
For some reason,
I don't know what it is.
He's not on the in club in the NBA players group.
He's not cool, right? But he's single-handedly
He's not exchanging jerseys with anybody.
He single-handedly beat the Lakers in that to clinch the series in 5.
Did.
So. Say what you will about him. I'm excited about all this. Now, do the Thunder, of all the teams that lost, which one actually makes you a little bit nervous for them in that series?
Well, let me say this. So, first of all, the first round was not extremely compelling. Only 3 series went beyond 5 games. We did get 2 Game 7s, but they weren't. They were basically blowouts.
Sure.
They weren't that compelling or interesting. But I think the second round's going to make up for it. I think now you have a concentration of the best teams in the league going head to, and these matchups, I love all 4 of them. I think they're all great. The Pacers are underrated. That Pacers-Cavaliers series, probably getting overlooked by some people. That's going to be a lot of fun. To answer your question, the Cavaliers are the one that should be most concerned. The reason? Injuries. They're banged up, and the Pacers are not, and the Pacers already stole home court advantage. I think the Pacers can upset the Cavaliers and win that series. I still think the Celtics are going to beat the Knicks. I still think the Thunder come back and beat the Nuggets, but I'm less sure about that than the Celtics. The best way to tell, in my opinion, which team's going to win a series is which team has the best player. So we saw Game 1 gives you a little bit of a chance to look and see who's the best player in each series. And I think the Knicks-Celtics series brings up an interesting debate because who is the best player in that series?
It's supposed to be Jason Tatum.
I think it's Jalen Brunson. And last night it was Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for the whole game. Now, Jalen Brunson, that Knicks team's got to get going a little earlier. But last night, Jalen Brunson was the best player in that series. Cavaliers-Pacers. Who's the best player in that series?
Supposed to be Donovan Mitchell.
Or is it Tyrese Halliburton?
It wasn't Game 1.
Okay. Who was the best player in the Thunder Nuggets series?
Oh, now, I think here's the thing about that that's interesting about that one. I think that all of us look at Denver, and you and I had this discussion before the show. It's a fascinating discussion to have because I think people look at Nikola Jokic and go, well, yeah, he's the best. But his team, top to bottom, doesn't have what OKC has. And SGA is a legitimate star.
Yeah.
He's a legitimate superstar even. I'm okay to give him that because he's probably going to win the MVP. The votes are already in, right?
Yes.
The votes have already been in.
The announcement will be coming in a few days.
And it's going to be really awkward when Nikola Jokic goes 42 and 22 last night, and they get the win.
You think they're going to announce it in the series?
I hope. I cross. If you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you're Sam Presti, who by the way won the Executive of the Year, shocker. If I'm Sam Presti, I go, hey man, make this announcement after the freaking series because we know it's probably going to be Shea, and you know what's going to happen? Nikola Jokic is not the type to be vindictive. He doesn't even look like he's got like the lowest pulse ever of one of the most harsh competitors we've ever seen, right? He doesn't look like the mean. Well, no, he does have the mean look. He doesn't look like the guy who would be doing the stuff that he does. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to announce the MVP in the series, and it's going to be SGA, and Nikola Jokic will quietly do exactly what he did the other night. Now, is it going to be enough? The depth of the Thunder still is scary because the Nuggets have not gotten out of Jamal Murray what they had gotten out of Jamal Murray
the Thunder go
2 or
10
3
deep.
years ago.
Yes. And that's not a normal playoff thing.
And I think that normally on a night like last night, for example, I mean, make some freaking free throws, would you?
Right.
Thunder? I mean, that sounds like an easy thing to do, and it's a lot harder than it sounds. But, like, I mean, it's crazy to see
71% from the free throw line for the Thunder last night.
It really missing him at the very, very end when they did.
Yeah, the Holmgren ones were tough.
Chet Holmgren, it gave it away. And Aaron Gordon making the game winner, because Jamal Murray's not really that second guy right now. I mean, it's crazy because the Nuggets don't have top to bottom the roster at all. But what they do have, and this is why it's a hard discussion to have about the MVP. Shea had an awesome year. He's on the best team in the West. But the best player in the world is Nikola Jokic. And in terms of guys who have a bigger impact on a team, I think you're seeing there's not somebody who has a bigger impact, right? But the voters get voter fatigue. That's why he's a 3-time, and he could have been a 4-time probably. And he's going to make
the Denver Nuggets before Nikola Jokic showed up.
Right. And he's going to be the guy who people are going to look at and they go, they probably should have given him the MVP this year. At the very least, he's going to make people wonder. And then what does that do? Next year, he'll have the same type of year, and they'll give him his 4th MVP based off of this and that and what we know he's going to do next year.
It's the Michael Jordan thing. It's just fatigue. It's voter fatigue.
Okay. Does Jokic get hurt? No. He has built of steel.
Doesn't matter. The way he plays the game, he can go out there with an Achilles tear, and he
just
15 assists.
Yeah. He goes like, I'm trying to think. Sam Perkins was like this. He was like chilled out and just hitting threes as a big man. Arvydas Sabonis, right?
Yeah.
We watched that guy growing up, and you're like, that guy's not going to make that. Look at him.
We didn't see him in his prime.
He's got a 44 waist. He's not going to make that shot. Boom.
Yep.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, what if he comes over earlier in his career? Maybe he goes full. Maybe he goes full Jokic, right? I mean,
before we go to break, one more we got to hit. Timberwolves Warriors. Who's the best player?
Oof. I mean, it's got to be Ant Edwards, right?
It's not a guarantee, but it's a great indicator of which team's going to win the series.
It's got to be Anthony Edwards.
I would say right now in 2025, yes, but that's hard to say when Steph Curry's in a playoff series.
We had the clutch discussion earlier.
And playoff Jimmy Butler is elite.
And those two combined might be enough, right? Because you go Anthony Edwards. Then after that, what? Rudy? No. Julius Randle? No.
They've got depth. They're very deep. Very, very deep.
And
Naz Reid's really good.
Reid. So Alexander Nikhil Walker.
So the Timberwolves have a star, a legit big-time top 5 player, in my opinion, Anthony Edwards right now. And then you go beyond that, and you're like, oh, yeah, who's their next best player? Well,
the 4-time defender of the year?
They have Julius Randle's having a really good playoffs. He had 23 points in the closeout game against the Lakers. Rudy Gobert is a 4-time defensive player of the year. He had 27 and 24 against the Lakers. He's capable of playing that level.
That guy?
Mike Conley's been an all-star. Jaden McDaniels is long and athletic. Dante DiVincenzo's played in a lot of clutch games. Naz Reid would be starting on almost every other team in the league. Nikhil Alexander Walker's broken out. There's 8 guys I just read off who are all NBA starters, and they're on the same team. That's a deep, deep squad. Much deeper than the Warriors, in my opinion.
The Warriors got a bunch of old dudes who just know how to get it done, and that might be enough.
But you trust
Maybe
that,
that's
too.
Enough.
That's hard to bet against that. They know how to win titles. That's going to be a really tough. That's a 7-game series, in my opinion.
All right. Oh, I hope. That'll be really fun. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We have our – is it the top 10 next? Oh, yeah. We're going to have the top 10 game, and then we'll have Mitch Harper top of next hour. So stay here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Give Mom the best Mother's Day gift ever at Minky Couture Blanket. Save 50% using the promo code ZONE50 in stores or online at minkycouture.com right now. The best Mother's Day gift ever, the Minky Couture Blanket. I was trying to justify in my head another Minky blanket in the house. It's pretty tough.
You don't have to justify it.
No.
Just do it.
I know we have so many, though. And we have so many. We have, JJ, we have so many.
How many?
I don't know.
Does each kid have their own?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The monster ones.
You're talking double digits.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So, and like I said, my wife's office has a deal. They have like their clients of Minky Couture somehow, and so they give them to a lot of their clients. So they have them, and so a lot of extras make their way to our house. You know what I mean? So we are And yet I still am like, yeah, but I kind of like this color. So anyway, all right. It's our daily dose of top 10. I've got a top 10 here for you. I was just thinking, JJ, about all of the because we were having this discussion about, the miniature, when you talk about an economy of a singular person, it's insane. The amount of money that these players are able to produce for themselves, their clubs, their whatever. So I have in front of me this year's ranking of salaries and endorsements equaling the total that gets these players to be the highest paid. I've got a top 10 list of the highest paid players across all of the sports, across all of the world.
Okay.
So we have the timer ready. We'll see how many of these the JJ can get. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it.
Ronaldo.
Ding.
Messi.
Ding.
LeBron.
Ding.
Steph Curry. Giannis.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. Ding. Giannis.
Oh, man. Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton. No. Not going to be football. Maybe.
Not going to be football. What did you say? Football?
Patrick Mahomes.
Hold on, let me look.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Well, who are you left with at that point? Jason Tatum.
There were only 2 basketball players, and you got them both.
Oh, so I'm done with that.
Give me more soccer.
Tom Brady. More soccer. You got to chime in, Alex. I'm sinking here.
Mbappe.
Ding.
Oh, there you go. That's helping. Keep going. Who are the biggest names in soccer right now?
What did you say? Holland? Oh, no.
We out of time.
Benzema is the other soccer player on the list. And
He
then,
still
of course,
makes that much?
I know, and so does Neymar. Okay?
Wow.
And when I say that, it's because the amount of money they've thrown at these cats. Ohtani not on there. You know why? $2 million salary.
Yeah,
with a
that's why I didn't guess Ohtani.
With $70 million of endorsements.
And I couldn't come up with a baseball player.
If he's getting paid the 70 that he should be getting, because he's like a $700 million a year, if he's getting the 70, because his endorsements are $70 million, which puts him way high up. The highest endorsement in the entire world from a sports perspective, do you know who it is? Steph Curry. $100 million in endorsement.
Glad I guessed him.
So Steph's number 2 on the list. Ronaldo is by far number 1 because he's getting from Al Nassr. Do you remember the number?
Saudis.
$215 million this year.
Oh my God.
In salary. Okay, $45 million in endorsements. So he is by $100 million more than Steph Curry.
Most
number
overrated
2.
Athlete in the world. Overpaid, not overrated.
I'm not count. I guess I'll count him. But Tyson Fury and
Fury,
Alexander Usyk
never would have got those.
2 boxers who are on the list, and they're both over $120 million apiece.
I had no idea. Oh my god.
Lionel Messi 60 and 75 in endorsement, $60 million in salary, 75 in endorsements. He's 135. LeBron is 48.2 and then 85 in endorsements for 133. So you don't even get out of John Rahm, by the way, number 10 on the list.
The golfer.
Yes,
Live
because
golf.
Live. Now, last year he was 120. He was actually 3rd on the list last year. So you talk about these athletes. The very first American football name on the list is Dak Prescott.
Really?
Yes.
He's the highest paid NFL player
because
combined
of his endorsements being $28 million. He gets up there.
I can't name one product he endorses.
I know. So the number of with the signing bonus and the salary, Jordan Love is actually the 3rd highest paid footballer on the list.
Oh my gosh!
At 79 in salary and signing bonus, $4 million in endorsements. He's almost $85 million this year. Jared Goff is number 2 on the football list.
Wow.
All right, there you go. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, but Neymar, Benzema, Mbappe, and then John Rahm is even ahead of Scotty Scheffler.
That's tough to guess.
Yeah, it is tough. I know. That was a tough one. You got 5 out of 10. I thought that was pretty good.
I can live with that today.
Yeah. All right. We'll take the break. Mitch Harper, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, he's going to join us next. Fresh off of his trip to Disney, which was also just an extended BYU football interview session. So we'll take the break here. More to go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.